I'm no boy wonder anymore, but that old training never goes away, even at my age. Tim Drake. When I was younger, part of me thought I would go on, and someday, capes, costumes, playing hero, it was kid stuff. Bruce probably did me a favor.
Don't take it personally, lad. He's never been one for debate.
Be patient.
No!
What?
I'm not waiting around while you study dirt. If you're not gonna help me, I'll find her myself.
In the end, I was so sick of it, I never wanted to see that stupid Robin suit again. Some things never change.
Were all of you that bitter when you left?
Comes with the territory, McGinnis.
Hello, Tim.
Hi, old man.
Something changing your mind.
I know who Daddy is.
So how did Tim get involved with the Batman? Luck, really. As Two-Face ordered his death, Batman intervened, but ends up actually needing to be saved himself.
We're sitting ducks here.
If it was any other little rascal, then would they really do all this? But Tim was special. Not quite the genius kid who figured out Batman's identity on his own, but more like the one who always idolized Batman, plastering him all over his walls, trained himself with the Batarang.
See? I found it after you cleared some bangers out of the hood.
And upon entering the cave, he reveals,
If you knew how many times I dreamed about this place.
Batman to Tim, before they even met, was an important role model because Tim's father was a low-key thug, someone he always knew would leave. But where his father was cowardly, Tim defiantly developed a stubborn strength in this harsh environment.
Just like Batman, nobody messes with Tim Drake.
Except Two-Face.
However, on the other side of the story of a happy, rebellious kid stepping into the world of heroism and escaping a potential life of crime,
But I got a stake in this.
I said no.
is something darker. The story of a child naively stepping into a world that will not be what he expects. A path walked by someone before him and someone else afterwards, all leading to the same results.
Stuff your advice, Batman. You and your stone-cold heart. You don't know how I feel. How could you?
I may have pretended otherwise, but I looked up to you, worshipped you.
What you wanted from me, I couldn't give to anyone.
Tell me something I don't know.
Cold silence. Unlike Jason and the glass case in traditional Bat media, the memory that's frozen in time isn't of Batman's greatest failure, but the ghost of someone he pushed away. Batman misses Dick, but he would never admit it, nor would he change the way he did things. He instead contained his feelings in the glass cabinet as a monument of his mission. What a melodramatic sentence. Tim's introductory episode titled Sins of the Father doesn't just refer to Tim Drake's father, but also Batman, and the lost legacy of Robin he caused. This is anchored by the episode's ending, where Bruce lists his rules.
You work with me, Tim. You follow the rules. Rule number 1, you give me everything you've got. Rule number 2, then you give me more. And rule number 3, I make the rules.
Dick Grayson then shows up to give Tim his blessing, but also a warning.
Watch out for that last one, kid. It's a killer.
Bruce, being the one who makes the rules, certainly will be killer. This is ironically the center of the next major Tim episode case study. Biker pedophiles. I guess they're very common in Gotham. Harasses a scared little girl.
Past your bedtime, ain't it, cutie?
So Robin intervenes and tries to bring her back to her family, but she doesn't remember. Tim has to then let her go when the signal appears. He must follow Batman's rule. Growing Pains is many things. A coming-of-age love story.
Sorry, I was thinking about a girl.
Teenagers.
A tragedy.
Sometimes there are no happy endings.
And it's also a big fat metaphor built around a pretty out there concept. The elephant in the room is, of course, Lil Annie.
I am Clayface.
Because one time he got drunk and lost at sea. Weakened and lost, he created a little girl to go look around. But when she was far away, she lost her memories. Thus, of course, in these sort of stories, we end on her sacrificing herself to save Tim in the end.
Run, Robin! Hurry!
Bring her back!
I can't! She's gone!
It's a tidy, self-contained, sad adventure that I think is best treated as an abstract metaphor for the loss of autonomy Tim feels as Batman's sidekick. There's this moment where as he wanders off into Gotham looking for Annie, he checks out the homeless kids and stares. Tim feels a connection. Then as he passes through the more affluent parts of Gotham, we can feel just how awful this city is. Tim was lucky to get the golden ticket, but unlike Dick, whose first home was a travelling circus, Tim's home is still technically out there, in the streets. As a result, it feels especially condescending for him to be treated as a child who needs permission to handle things on his own, to be gripped so darn tightly.
He always treats me like a kid.
Pardon me for saying so, but you are a kid.
Sure, take his side.
Little Annie connects to this deeper part of him.
He'll hurt you too.
I can handle him.
What makes you so sure?
I know his type. My dad wasn't much of a prize either.
So that's why you care.
Tim Drake is someone who became Robin not because of trauma. His father's escape and death was not an incomprehensible event that destroyed his sense of self, but it came from vindication of what he already expected.
He was never gonna come back for me anyway. He was too scared.
Furthermore, becoming Robin was a decision birthed out of a pre-established sense of justice and fulfilled his dream to be like Batman. This kid is fundamentally not tragic in the traditional Batman sense. What he is fundamentally loyal. He shed tears for his dad, despite his low opinion of him. He's loyal to Batman to the point that where Annie is unwillingly consumed by her father figure in the episode, growing pain ends with him in contrast, alongside his. He's loyal to the streets, he's loyal to Annie. I think the most revealing moment in the nature of Tim's character is the first night sleeping in the cave. He wakes up screaming,
No, don't. You can't go. Dad!
The life story Tim wrote for himself is a clean, consistent, and coherent line of development. The worst thing you can do to this loyal kid is to break his loyalty. Enter Return of the Joker. On another nightly patrol, Tim is ambushed and for days, through physical torture and chemicals, is broken.
You would have been proud to see him so strong, but all too soon the serums and the shocks took their toll, and the dear lad began to share such secrets with me.
Joker's last great victory was making his own family out of Batman's, learning everything, and the final joke,
The last sound you hear will be our laughter,
is having Batman executed by little Tim, thus achieving total domination. However, underneath Joker Jr., underneath Robin, is Tim Drake.
Tim.
The son of Stephen Drake.
Burglary, armed robbery, grand theft.
This man may have ran away from his son and died trying to escape to Metropolis, but he died in defiance against his evil employer. He couldn't go through Two-Face's plan on gassing Gotham, and instead took his chemical weapons before running. That's Tim's blood.
Started when he was a kid. A real hard luck case.
Just like his son.
And so, the son of Stephen Drake shoots Joker instead. In the original version at least. But while Batman lives, Robin dies. The premise that serving the mission would make him as tough as Batman, that was contradicted in such a fashion that he can't even look at the costume anymore. He can't even sleep without seeing the Joker. But then actually it's revealed Joker had a microchip superglued to his neck, so after a nice zap, Tim is finally freed.
We met the other night.
We did?
But Tim did escape, successfully. He got married, he has a normal job, and the last time we see him, he's in a hospital room full of friends. When his old man came to visit him, there's nothing but smiles.
Hi, old man.
Autonomy is the great tragedy of DCAU Tim Drake. Like with Dick and Terry, secrets and being denied the compassion they wanted from Bruce was what drove them away, but what makes it worse for Tim is the fact that he never got a chance to redefine himself. He didn't get to leave and become Nightwing, or own Batman as his own. He instead got his life's chapters scribbled over by a monster. Furthermore, each surrogate son of Bruce Wayne are treated increasingly more dispassionately by him. Bruce made sure Dick had fun. Tim was trained with the formality of a stern mentor, and old man Bruce was originally alright with letting Terry being beaten to death. To be Robin, you must be part of a greater whole, a very impersonal whole.
Are you looking for sympathy?
From you? Heaven forbid.
Where it's all about unquestioned obedience to a mission and service.
You still keep a tracer in his utility belt.
In the appearances of these case studies, Batman's only acts of fatherly responsibility was telling Tim not to be distracted.
There's nothing we can do for her. From the sound of it, she belongs in a runaway center. And you need to keep your head clear.
Then saying, well, sometimes bad endings happen after Annie's dead. The only show of affection he can muster is a hand on the shoulder. But like always, Bruce is there for Tim in the end. It might take a while, but Bruce will show how much he cares with enough time. Tim's loyalty was rewarded.
Sometimes the important things go unsaid.
I couldn't stand the thought that he might take you, too.
If If there's one thing I've learned, you've got to appreciate the people in your life while you have the chance.
My old man used to work for Puke Face, but that was before he split town.
Sorry, Timmy, the heat's on. I gotta leave town for a while. Hang on to this for me.
Your father left you all alone?
Big deal. He was never around much anyway.
Not everyone is capable of expressing that, Tim. No matter how much they might feel it in their heart.
I know.
What are you doing here?
It's where I should be. Hello, Tim.
So finally, my DCAU Tim Drake video is done. I put this off for a while because it seemed so overwhelming since Tim has so many episodes and appearances, but then I realized the best way to approach it is to just pick the most important appearances and then structure the entire analysis about that. Then I really dug the idea of making the video about celebrating Tim's loyalty and making it the central thing. Anyways, special thanks to everyone on Patreon. Seriously, your patience are amazing.
What, Lois?